Feeling good, feeling great, yeah. Feeling good, feeling great. We're hanging with hurt. We're hanging. Welcome to the show. We're hanging with hurt. We're hanging.
Hello, everyone. I'm Frank Thomas, and this is Hangin' With Hurt, where I go one-on-one with the best in sports and entertainment. Today's guest is the hit king himself, Pete Rose. With 4,256 hits, Pete Rose cemented himself into baseball immortality. He was a 17-time All-Star over a 24-year career. Charlie Hustle was unlike any before or after him, and is one of the greatest players in baseball history. But Rose is no stranger to controversy. He bet on baseball, and in 1989 was banned for life, which has kept him from his rightful place in the Baseball Hall of Fame. We'll get into it all with one of my favorites on and off the field. It's Pete Rose on this edition of Hangin' With Hurt. Pete Rose, my man, welcome to the show, Hangin' With Hurt. Is everything going great there in Las Vegas?
Yes, sir. Everything's going great.
Pete, you were named Player of the Decade of the 70s.
Right.
What does that accomplishment mean to you?
Well, Frank, in order to be Player of the Decade, you have to be very consistent. And I was a very consistent player for the 70s. And of course, I was lucky enough to go to the World Series 70, 72, 75, 76, playoffs in 73 against the Mets. So it was a lot of fun, but I think the player of the 80s was Mike Schmidt. I think the player of the 60s was Willie Mays. I think the player of the 50s was Stan Musial. So you're certainly in good company there. And I was just a very consistent player. I mean, if I'd have negotiated my contract, Frank, on consistency, I'd have never got a cut in pay. I'd have got a raise every year, because when I had batting championship years, and the next year I wouldn't win the bat championship, but I'd hit 320. Right. So I still had great years in order to get raises based on what you did on the field. So consistency would have to be the word.
Pete, you're well known for your aggressive base running style. The game has changed a little bit today. Do you see anyone out there that you could compare to you a little bit?
Well, Frank, guys don't need to play like me, because they make money by, you make a lot of money today because you were a home run hitter.
Right, right.
But you still need table setters. If I was on your team, you would lead the league in RBIs.
Right.
Okay. You know, because I got on base 5,900 times as a leadoff hitter. Now, would you like to have a guy hitting in front of you
every day?
I remember when our buddy Joe Morgan passed away. I was thinking about Joe, and when he came over to our team for the 72 season, the first thing I asked him when he come in the clubhouse, I said, Joe, do you like to hit when the pitcher's in the stretch? He said, hell yeah, everybody does. I said, well, you see that door over there with Sparky's office? I said, you go over there and tell Sparky you want to hit after me. The next day he was hitting second in the lineup.
Smart man, Petey. Pete, you had 4,265 hits. There hasn't been anyone close to that record. Do you ever think that record is going to be broken again?
Well, you never say never, Frankie, but it took 50-some years for me to break Ty Cobb's record.
Yes.
And when you look at the way baseball is played today, Frankie, you know just as much as I do. Guys aren't worried about getting 200 hits. Guys are worried about getting 30 home runs,
right? Because
that's where the money is. And they're paying the guys. They don't understand. You need guys like me at the front of the lineup if you're going to win baseball games. Because there's a couple of things I did better than anybody, Frank. One was getting on base, and two was winning games. Okay. I mean, if you think about being a baseball player, and you were a winner, you got to think about winning the damn game. That's why you play the game. You don't play the game to get statistics. You play the game to hopefully go to the World Series in October. And I played 24 years, Frank, and I only went to 6 World Series. That doesn't sound like much, but it's once every 4 years.
That's an
which
amazing
was still
record.
A lot of fun for me. But you take a guy like Joe DiMaggio. He played 12 years and went to 11 World Series. That's the kind of teammate you want because he expects to win. He expects to go to the World Series, and the Yankees won 10 of them. So you expect to win. I mean, fans expect you to win. Ownership expects you to win. The ball club expects you to win, and your teammates should expect you to win. But they really don't think that way today. They think today more or less, well, how can I get 30 home runs when I can make 15 million?
You know, you still hold the records for most games, base hits, singles. You broke so many other records. After everything you've been through in this league, it's got to make you feel good that some of these things would never, ever be touched.
Well, no one's ever going to bat 16,000 times, 14,000 official. I doubt if anybody's going to get 4,000 hits just to be, not because I was something special, but just the way they play today, Frank. They don't play to, you know what? This, if we play this season coming up, how many guys will get 200 hits? One, maybe two. Okay.
Exactly.
There'll be several guys hit 300, and there'll be several guys hit over 30 home runs. Okay. So if you hit over 30 home runs, your salary is going to really increase. You know, if you were playing today, you'd be making 35 to 40 million. That's what they have to pay you, just based on what you did on the field. Okay. Because you knocked in runs, you hit home runs, you played good defense. The only problem with you, as far as I'm concerned, no, seriously, it's just like Mike Trout.
Right.
Okay. You were the best player when you played, but your team didn't win every year.
Mm-hmm.
You know, good players lead their team to win. You got to have help.
Yes.
Did I have help? Yeah, I had Morgan, I had Bench, I had Perez. I had a lot of help. I had Mike Schmidt, I had Steve Carlton, I had Andre Dawson, Tim Raines. You know, Frank, listen to this stat. This is an amazing stat, okay? And I know you'll understand this. These are my teammates that I played with in my career. Okay, I'm going to name you my teammates. Catcher, Johnny Bench. Third baseman, Mike Schmidt. Shortstop, Barry Larkin. Second baseman, Joe Morgan. First baseman, Tony Perez. Left fielder, Frank Robinson. Center fielder, Tim Raines. Right fielder, Andre Dawson. Left-hand pitcher, Steve Carlton. Right-hand pitcher, Tom Seaver.
Wow.
Think about that.
I never thought about that. Hall of Famers at every position.
On the field, I played with a Hall of Famer at one time or another. That's the kind of company you want to hang around with if you're an athlete.
Let me ask you something. You've said it to me many a times. I want to hear it again. Do you still think the Big Red Machine was the most talented team you've ever been around, or most talented team you've ever seen?
That's a good question, and I'm not going to give you an answer because I can't, and I'll tell you why. Because I don't know how good the 27 Yankees were. I don't know how good some of the Dodger teams were in the 60s. But I'm going to tell you one thing that I'll go to my grave saying. The Big Red Machine, and you'll understand this, was the most entertaining team ever. Okay. We had batting champions. We had home run champions. We had RBI champions. We had a Gold Glove catcher, Gold Glove second base, Gold Glove shortstop, Gold Glove center fielder. And we had a flamboyant manager. We had everything you needed to be entertained when you went to the ballpark from a team. So I'll go on record as saying we weren't the best team ever. We were one of the best, no question about it. But we were the most entertaining team ever.
You were nicknamed Charlie Hustle. You used to take out players at second base, at home plate, because you were hustling all the time. Do you like what's going on in the game now with all these new rule changes that you can't even take a guy to second base or take out a catcher at home plate?
We started this quest in baseball in 1869 with the Red Sox. And I always thought baseball was getting along pretty good. Now all of a sudden they changed the rule at second base. They changed the rule at home plate, okay? And one of the worst rules is you can't pitch inside. You know, young pitchers come in and get my autograph in Vegas all the time, and I try to give them some advice. And here's the advice I give them, Frank. I think you'll agree with this. Pitch inside, but don't hit them. Mm-hmm. Because if you pitch inside, it gives you more of the outside part of the plate. And the bigger the plate is, the better off you are pitching. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
You can extend that plate.
You know, I know.
Because a guy moves back a lot. Well, you didn't get hit a lot because you were so damn big.
Well, I got hit a lot. I got hit a lot.
Things, Frank. You were three things. You were big, you were bad, and you were ugly. Just kidding.
Two out of three are right. You're right about that. No one makes me laugh like my guy Pete Rose, on and off the field. But now it's time to take a break. Let's go over to my guy, Mr. Gaspy, to see what he's got going on this week.
Thanks, Frank. What's up, everyone? I'm in my element right now, but honestly, I cannot get enough of these two. When we return, Pete's going to discuss why we may never see another player manager in the league again.
Hangin' With Hurt is sponsored by Gold Rush Gaming.
Frank Thomas, the big hurt in my car.
Yes.
NUGENIX Total T. It's the real deal, right?
When I turned 40, like you said, I started to feel run down on account of
Because of your...
Right, your free testosterone levels drop.
Yep.
So what did I do?
I hope you tried NUGENIX. Started with a complimentary bottle, and what a difference.
To get your complimentary bottle of NUGENIX Total T, text SPRINT to 231231. This unique man-boosting formula is powered by Testofen, a patented key ingredient clinically researched to help increase testosterone levels so you can trim up and stay lean.
Thanks to you and NUGENIX, I feel like my old self again.
That's great, man. And you know what else?
Oh yeah, she'll like it too.
Oh, that's my line.
Get your complimentary bottle of NUGENIX now. Text SPRINT to 231231. Text now and we'll include a bottle of NUGENIX Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, with key ingredients to help you get back in shape fast. Absolutely free. That's SPRINT to 231231.
Don't take a chance on another gaming company. At Gold Rush Gaming, we offer the highest quality of service and games in the video gaming industry, with unparalleled dedication and proven gaming knowledge. We are here to help you make your business successful. We provide the most efficient service possible, in addition to offering the newest games and upgrades as they become available to the market. You're always dealt a winning hand with Gold Rush Gaming. Reach out today and see what a difference the gold standard can make.
Here's what it takes to make the world's finest golf clubs. Unlimited time, money, passion. Start early, stay late, dream big, lose sleep, lose patience, never lose focus. Ignore what's been done before, ignore the haters, overanalyze, overagonize, never accept good enough until forgiveness, performance, and feel are absolutely amazing. BXG, nobody makes golf clubs the way we do, period.
This segment of Hangin' With Hurt is brought to you by NUGENIX.
Welcome back to Hangin' With Hurt. I'm your host, Frank Thomas. Time now for What If? I asked Pete Rose, what if he was commissioner for the day? What would he change?
The thing that hurts baseball today more than anything, Frank, you probably won't agree with this.
All right.
You have to figure out a way to get these guys in the batter's box and hit.
Okay.
Every player takes too much time to adjust in his gloves, every pitch. I'll tell you one way you could speed up the game. I think you'll agree with this. And the way I would speed up the game, umpires call more strikes.
Right. Okay.
I watch 2 games every day, Frank, and some days I watch 3. And I'm totally confused what the strike zone is. One day the strike zone to be from here to here. The next day to be from here to here. Every umpire has his own strike zone. And none of them have a strike zone. It's in the rule book. The rule book says from the knee to the armpits. You don't have no umpires calling strikes up here today. You don't have any umpires calling balls down here today. But if you start calling more strikes, guys will be swinging more and they'll be making more outs and you'll speed up the game. And I don't know why, but we as fans if you're a White Sox fan and you go to the game tomorrow night and the game takes an hour and 50 minutes and the White Sox lose 1-0, you're pissed on the way home. You come back the next night, the White Sox win 15-1 and the game took 4 hours. You're happy as hell on the way home, yet you won fast games. I don't get it. Another thing, when you go to a baseball game, every time you pan in the audience, Frank, think about this. Every time you pan in the audience of a baseball game, what are guys doing? They're either on their phone or they're eating.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
So, and I always have people complain about the price of tickets. And I say, well, what was the price of the ticket? Well, I had 3 hot dogs and 3 beers and a bag of peanuts. I said, did you go to the game to watch the game? Did you go to eat? Eat before you go to the game. Every time they pan in, there's a guy with a hot dog or a hamburger, and he's ordering another one. You want to watch the game or you want to watch your kid eat? Don't you have dinner before you go to the ball game? Then have a drink or so?
Right.
People are crazy. everybody's in a hurry, but nobody wants to do anything about it.
Let me ask you a serious question. Do you ever think there'll be another player manager? Because you were the last, and I don't see that happening in the future.
I'll tell you why it won't. Okay, Frank Robinson did it. Lou Boudreau did it. That's for your Chicago fans. Because here's three things you got to have as a player manager, Frank. Okay, you got to take care of the media. You got to take care of your players, and if you're a player manager, you got to keep your skills honed. Okay, so you're going to run out of time. You can't neglect the media, or they'll run you out of town. You can't neglect your players, or they'll run you out of town. And I can't ask coaches to come to the ballpark at 1:30, 2 o'clock every day to throw me batting practice when batting practice starts at 5:30.
Right.
So I never did retire, Frank. I just quit playing. I quit playing. I let Tony Perez play first base because he was chasing the Latino home run record. So it's just too difficult.
You know, I know that you're the king of the Queen City. Talk to me. How did it feel in 2016 when you finally went into the Reds Hall of Fame?
Well, yeah, it was something that you know was going to happen. I mean, I got all the records at Cincinnati. It was just as important when I went back for my statue. Okay. It was just as important when I had bobblehead night. You know, they did that to all of us. Me, Joe, Johnny, and Tony, we all had our numbers retired, Hall of Fame, and statues. And it was part of history. And don't forget, Frank, the history meant more to me than the other three. Okay, and I'll tell you why. Because today, okay, Great American Ballpark is where the Reds play, is on Pete Rose Way. I was born when I broke in at Crosley Field, okay, 3 miles from Crosley Field, 4 miles from Riverfront Stadium. So I was a hometown kid. So if the World Series happened in Binger, Oklahoma, and they won, Johnny would be prouder than I would be, being from Cincinnati. But because I'm from Cincinnati, I have to believe that the World Championships meant a little bit more to me than those guys, simply because when I was knee high to a grasshopper, I was going to Reds games.
Right.
You know, I was going to Reds game and meeting Jackie Robinson, you know, Roy Campanella, Willie Mays, Hank Aaron. And I got to play against those guys. You know, I wish I was playing today because of the money. But there again, I played an era of baseball, Frank. You know this. You just missed it, what I got. I got to play against Mays. I got to play with Mays. I got to play against McCovey. I got to play against Bob Gibson. I got to play against Henry Aaron. You know, I got to play against Sandy Koufax, Drysdale, Seaver, Carlton, all the great players in the history of baseball. The only better era was Babe Ruth, Lou Gehrig, Ty Cobb. Those are the same kind of guys I got to play with in the 60s and 70s, and some of them in the 80s. And when you're playing against royalty like that, and all of a sudden I'm on their team. I remember the first All-Star game I went to in 1965 in Minneapolis. I was a kid, 3 years in the league, and we go to the clubhouse on Monday for a workout for a Tuesday game. And this clubhouse guy, I didn't know him in Minnesota. He's got me locker in between Mays and Aaron. I slapped myself. So what the hell am I doing here?
Right.
I got Willie Mays over here and Henry Aaron over there.
Damn.
And I'll tell you, I love those guys because those guys went out of their way to treat me like I was a member of the team.
Okay.
And don't forget, Frank, you were in the American League your whole career, so you probably think the American League was better. I was in National League my whole career. I think the National League was better.
Back then it was better. We talked about that before. Back then it was better.
Frank, we won 16 out of 17 games, but we were playing for league pride. Okay? You didn't have this guy becoming a free agent going to the Yankees or this guy going to Baltimore. We stayed in the same league. Yastrzemski stayed in the same league. Al Kaline stayed in the same league. Frank Thomas stayed in the same league. Okay? Johnny Bench stayed in the same league. Joe Morgan stayed in the same league. So that's the way it was so important in the 60s, 70s, and 80s, because we played the All-Star game to show the American League that we were superior.
Does anyone have a better nickname than Pete, the Hit King? There might be one. Let's send it to my main man, the Big Hurt.
Thanks, Mr. Gaspy. Looking forward to seeing you next time. Time now for a final break. We'll circle the bases with Pete and talk about why his case for the Hall of Fame should be discussed now more than ever.
Hangin' With Hurt is brought to you in part by PXG.
Can you believe this? Doug Flutie and Frank Thomas. You guys look great. Once I turn 40...
Let me guess, less energy?
Less drive?
Definitely.
It's not your fault. It happens to every man. Testosterone levels drop as you age.
Happened to you guys?
Yep.
So what did you do?
We got NUGENIX Total T.
To get your complimentary bottle of NUGENIX Total T, text SPRINT to 321321. This unique man-boosting formula is powered by Testofen, a patented key ingredient clinically researched to help increase testosterone levels.
That does it. I gotta get NUGENIX.
Just send a text for a complimentary bottle. And by the way, she'll like it too.
Get your complimentary bottle of NUGENIX now. Text SPRINT to 321321. Text now and we'll include a bottle of NUGENIX Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, with key ingredients to help you get back in shape fast. Absolutely free. That's SPRINT to 321321.
PXG's world-class golf clubs are made for players of every skill level and budget. And now, even better news. We just made PXG for Heroes special pricing sharper than ever. And because Heroes are everywhere, everybody gets special pricing on most products. So what are you waiting for? Call us or visit PXG.com and take your game to a whole new level. If that's not fun, tell me what is, baby. PXG, nobody makes golf clubs the way we do, period.
Hi, I'm Frank Thomas, the Big Hurt. As a 20-year former pro athlete, I've had 6 sport-related surgeries. Believe me, I know pain. Through the years, I've tried every possible remedy with little results. 50 million Americans suffer from pain every day. Well, now you don't have to suffer anymore. It's a new pain relief product that is made with natural hemp extract and profoundly effective. Ecoderm, the Big Hurt Pain Cream.
To order Ecoderm, go to ecosciences.com or call 888-578-0012.
Welcome back to Hangin' With Hurt. I'm Frank Thomas. Time now for one of my favorite segments, Circling the Bases. I asked Pete Rose, with sports gambling legalized, should his case be re-examined to be voted into the Baseball Hall of Fame?
Well, I'm not going to sit on your program or any other program and say I belong in the Hall of Fame. I got the credentials.
Yes.
I screwed that up, Frank. I made the mistakes. However, I would like to be able someday to be put on the ballot like the rest of the guys, especially the steroid guys.
Yes.
See, I've never been on the ballot.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? And once you're on the ballot, what are you on there, for 5 or 6 years, something like that?
Exactly.
Then they take you off the ballot. But I never been on the ballot, okay? Guys linked to steroids, A-Rod, Mark McGuire, Sosa, Palmeiro, those guys are on the ballot every year. I would just like the opportunity to see how the press would react to me being on the ballot. And I'm not sitting here telling you that I belong in the Hall of Fame. What is the Hall of Fame, Frank? It's about records. It's about statistics. Okay, nobody's got better statistics than me. So based on that, I should be in the Hall of Fame. I mean, the Hall of Fame, and you're a Hall of Famer, and deservingly. But the Hall of Fame acts like they got a bunch of altar boys up there.
Right.
Okay. There's a lot of guys in the Hall of Fame that made mistakes in life, but they were never brought up. You know that, and I know that.
Exactly.
So there's more to life than the Hall of Fame, okay? That's why making the Reds Hall of Fame was very important to me, because it's my hometown. That's why getting the statue of me was very important to me, because that's my hometown. You know, 100 years from now, when people go to the ballpark, they'll walk by that statue of me going a head-first slide. Okay? So that's what it's all about, what they're going to remember about you. Okay? I don't think people are going to remember he was a gambler. Because baseball, did you know this, Frank? I don't know if you knew this or not. It started before last year. Did you know that every day, there's 30 managers in baseball. Every day, every game, 15 minutes before the game, the manager has to email his lineup to Major League Baseball. And then they email it to MGM Properties. Think about that.
Yes.
Because they don't want somebody to get hurt with a big bet because this guy was supposed to pitch and he didn't pitch and this guy pitched. Isn't that kind of strange?
Well, it's very strange, and that's where we're at with today's sports. And you know that, and I know that. I'm glad you answered that, and you just circled those bases for me right there, because that's very important what you just said. In today's game, it has become every team about sports betting.
But that's fine, Frank, because everybody today does some kind of form of gambling.
Mm-hmm.
It's all about this. It's all about bucks.
Mm-hmm.
Why is baseball? Like we got a new football stadium right down 9/10 from where I am in Vegas. Where the Raiders play. They have a window in there where you can bet on the games during the game. You can bet on the game at halftime. William Hill has a thing inside the stadium.
Yes. Okay.
So they don't like gambling.
Right.
Somebody's getting the rewards. It's not me or you.
You're right about that. If you had to do it all over again, would you have made any changes in life?
Sure, I wouldn't have bet on baseball.
Okay.
No, hell yeah, that's an easy question.
Right.
But I did, and I can't take it away. It's part of history. Sure, I'm sorry I did it. Yes. I was unoccupied when I became a manager. I needed something else. And I had so much faith and confidence in the young players I had. So I bet on the win every night.
Okay.
I mean, that's what I did. But I must tell you, Frank, when I did, no coaches, no clubhouse guys, no players knew I was betting on the Reds.
Okay. Well, I want the fans to know that, because you have never lied to me about that, and you've always been brutally honest about that. And I'm really hoping that we can get you into the Hall of Fame, because you deserve to be there. You have records that would never be broken. And your enthusiasm for the game is second to none. Your IQ for the game is second to none. And that's why I respect you, Pete Rose.
Well, let me ask you one question, Big Frank.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. When I die and you decide to put me in the Hall of Fame, are you going to go to my ceremony?
Yes, I'll be there for you, my friend.
Okay. Well, I'll be underneath. I'll be underneath. Don't stand on me.
I'll be there for you, though.
Stand next to me.
Tears in my eyes. I'll be there for you, buddy. I really appreciate you coming out with Hangin' With Hurt, because I've worked with you for years. And like I said, baseball, there is no better ambassador for baseball, a man who really loves the game of baseball. Mr. Pete Rose, the Hit King. Thank you, Pete. I'm honored you came to the program, and I'll see you soon, my friend.
I love you, Frank Thomas.
Real, honest, and open. That's Pete Rose. I'd like to thank Pete Rose for joining me on Hangin' With Hurt. And I'd like to thank all of you for watching. I'm Frank Thomas, your host. I'll see you next time. For the latest on Hangin' With Hurt and for future episodes, follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Hangin' With Hurt.
We're feeling good, like we knew we would. Feeling good.
Don't take a chance on another gaming company. At Gold Rush Gaming, we offer the highest quality of service and games in the video gaming industry, with unparalleled dedication and proven gaming knowledge. We are here to help you make your business successful. We provide the most efficient service possible, in addition to offering the newest games and upgrades as they become available to the market. You're always dealt a winning hand with Gold Rush Gaming. Reach out today and see what a difference the gold standard can make.
Hi, I'm Frank Thomas, the Big Hurt. As a 20-year former pro athlete, I've had 6 sport-related surgeries. Believe me, I know pain. Through the years, I've tried every possible remedy with little results. 50 million Americans suffer from pain every day. Well, now you don't have to suffer anymore. It's a new pain relief product that is made with natural hemp extract and profoundly effective. Ecoderm, the Big Hurt Pain Cream.
To order Ecoderm, go to ecosciences.com or call 888-578-0012.